How's it going, everybody? This is Ged from Fabulous Flix. In case you're wondering why I'm sitting here looking completely lost, it's because I just watched the 4K version of the movie Tenet, and I have absolutely no idea what happened. I just sat through 2.5 hours of a movie, and I virtually have nothing to share with you. I don't know what happened. I don't know when it happened. There was a scene where it was literally happening at the same time in forward as well as in reverse. So let me break this down the best way that I can. First things first, when Christopher Nolan makes a big budget movie, the world stops to pay attention as to what's going to happen. Movies of his past that you guys may be very well aware of are movies like The Dark Knight, movies like Inception, movies like Interstellar, which, by the way, Interstellar, Dark Knight, both of those movies are literally inside my top 5 of all time. But let's call a duck a duck. This guy can make some weird crap. And this is an absolute shining example of it. So first things first, what I loved about this movie. This movie was shot in a combination of 65mm film reel, not digital. Christopher Nolan is one of the very few directors left who still uses film reel. So at 65mm film reel, you can get an obscene amount of data off of that. What do I mean by that? It means that this movie will be able to be remade 5-7 years from now in 8K at full resolution. It is crazy, crazy high end. The other thing I loved about it is he incorporated Imax scenes. Now you're probably wondering, what do you mean by the fact that he incorporated Imax scenes? Well, this movie actually changes aspect ratio. So from the normal black bars to the top and bottom, which we call 1 to 2.39, it actually went to a full 16:9, kind of to fill your TV up at certain points. Those are Imax full 70mm scenes. Now, what you also may or may not have noticed, depending on how you're watching this, is the audio changed dramatically. It is no secret that Christopher Nolan, I don't want to say has struggled, because he's obviously doing this for a reason, but sometimes any movie you watch with Christopher Nolan sounds like you're watching Bane try to give a public speaking address. It can be very muddled, dialogue could be lost. This, unfortunately, is a movie that you either need to watch in 2-channel stereo on your television, or you need to have a humongous home audio system with a center channel that is absolutely gargantuan. I was fortunate enough to have the latter, so I was able to capture most of the audio. But there were a couple times during the movie where the other person in the room looked at me and asked me if I actually turned the volume up. The IMAX scenes are so much exponentially louder that it's literally like you're watching a different movie. So the premise of the movie is pretty cool. John David Washington is pulled into this secret mission where they are altering time by things that are going to be done in the future to then be picked up in the past to then change the timeline of the present. Yeah, I'm not even sure if I explained that right. But the crazy thing is, at the end of the movie, he finds out that the person who organizes all of this ends up being him in the future, and he recruits Robert Pattinson, who, by the way, is brilliant in this, in the future, who then becomes his friend as a recruit in the present. As I stated, absolutely mind-numbing. So I'm just going to bust this down for my pros and cons. So here comes the pros and cons section of Fabulous Flix. So con number 1, without a doubt, is the changing aspect ratio. If you're watching this on a TV, you're probably going to wonder what's wrong with your television because it's bringing up the black bars and then they're disappearing. Those full scenes, like I said, are IMAX scenes. If you are one of the rare people that have a theater room with an actual theater aspect screen, which is 1 to 2.39, you're probably going to get really frustrated real fast. Number 2, the audio. Yes, it sounds incredible on the IMAX scenes. However, the volume distortion is so different. Be careful you don't spend half the movie trying to adjust the volume, because you'll have to turn the volume up during the normal scenes with a black bar so you can hear what people are saying. But when the screen goes full and there's almost very little dialogue throughout the entire movie when this is happening, you know you're entering into a massive action sequence, and you should probably just turn it down. There are some receivers, Denon, Yamaha, which have audio coding on them that can help level that off. I do not recommend you get involved with that. Just kind of grin and bear it. My suggestion, turn it up so you can hear some vocals, so you can distinguish as to what's happening in the movie, and then just cringe a little bit during the action scenes. Third con, this thing is really hard to follow. I actually got confused as I was just trying to explain it to you. It is just an absolute mind numb. It's literally like Inception and Memento hooked up to make a baby of Interstellar. It's literally just all over the place. However, there are some pros. So here are the pros. Number one, grossly entertaining. If you just accept the fact that you have no idea what's going on and you want to turn your home theater system up and annoy the person beside you or any pets you might have running around, this movie, the audio sequence in these Imax, hands down the new standard for anything audio. There's a scene at the end, hopefully I'll be able to capture it on the screen behind me, where they're going to that ending battle scene, and it's in the full 16:9. It's like Transformers and The Dark Knight made an action sequence together. It is phenomenal. The second pro, these IMAX scenes, like I said, they're just awesome. I know they throw it off, but they're so large scale. The audio's turned up so much, you can't help but love them. The last but not least is actually, for my pro, is the actors involved. So John David Washington, Robert Pattinson, these guys were absolutely brilliant. It's hard to see Robert Pattinson as anything other than Team Edward versus Team Jacob. But he has grown up, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him as the new Batman coming out in the next year or so. They did an absolutely incredible job. And my main takeaway, be prepared to watch this a few times. If you have any hope in trying to understand this movie, my suggestion is you have 6 or 7 very strong drinks, and then watch it 3 or 4 times in a row and try and make sense of it. Kind of a strange review. This is absolutely worth picking up if you have a home theater system. I realize that sounds weird to say because I really didn't give it a lot of love, but from an audio-visual perspective, it is just something that you really need to experience. This is Ged from Fabulous Flix. Have an amazing day and enjoy some incredible movie watching. Cheers.